Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! Seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead! Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it, it comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Tying run at second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle of the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the post, 20, 15, Hester 5.
For the 3rd time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, you can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. You want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I tried to do. I tried to make it nice and easy for you, but thanks to some hackers, I made it a little difficult. Okay? On Facebook, which I still don't have access to. I don't know if you guys can see my Facebook page. I'm not sure. But it allows me to post up there. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Shawn.Sierra.2025. On Twitter, I am at ShawnSierra33. And I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I'm at the Shawn Sierra. We got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So make sure you leave a question or comment when you're watching this show. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show in that, my peoples. So it makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's check the chat, because the chat is jumping like crazy. Early. My man, Mr. Southside himself, Michelle Walls, and the Mickey Ficky House goes, what's up on a House Music Monday morning? Bear down. Southside, stand up. FGB. Yes. Cornelius Squalls, top of the morning, Shawn at Sports Owners. I'd rather have been running tough practices than not. Injuries in training camp is part of the game. Interesting. We could talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. Levette Lee checking in the house. It was Happy House Music Monday, y'all. Happy House Music Monday to you too, Levette. Thank you for tuning in. As always. Top of the morning to you, these effing haters. Who's hating, Shorty? Who's hating? Shorty, let me know who's hating. And he's like, I don't know how many more injuries we can take. Yeah, I hear you, but look. Would you rather have them now, or would you rather have them in the middle of the season? Look, try and find the positive in everything. Yeah, I hate those hackers. I hate these hackers. Dude, they're screwing everything up. Listen, I don't know a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. Listen, at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock, my man Herb Lawrence, contributor over at CHGO, is going to join. CHGO White Sox is going to join us. We're talking White Sox baseball. The White Sox are in first place, 3.5 game lead over the Detroit. What? Detroit Tigers. Detroit has snuck back into this has crept back into this race. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Thought we just handled Cleveland. Took 2 out of 3 from them. And here comes Detroit leapfrogging Cleveland into second place. Not happy about that at all. We're going to talk about that with our guy Herb Lawrence at the top of the hour. My man, it's Mr. 5 o'clock somewhere. Somewhere in this world is 5 o'clock. So we got a tip. We got a salute to my man, Damani Pugh, Lucky Lefty in the house. Hashtag bear down, man. Thanks for tuning in, Papa. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's get a crack-a-lackin', baby. You know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning.
She won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
See this go. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? I know where we're going. We're starting right here, baby. The White Sox, the good guys on the south side, baby. I was there Saturday night. Ozzie Guillen jersey retirement ceremony was awesome, but the White Sox, they won that night, and the White Sox won yesterday. They beat the Guardians 5-2 to take the series. 2-1 over those pesky Guardians. Davis Martin, he got the start. He got no decision. He only went in 1 inning. 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, a walk, and a K. Hayden Smith just called up. One of our top prospects just called up. He came in. He got the dub, his first Major League victory. He went 2 innings of shutout baseball, 4 walks, 3 punch-outs. Kosa Montgomery getting warm. He is 1 for 3 with a homer. His 26th of the year, driving in his 66th, 67th, and 68th runs of the year. Miguel Vargas was 1 for 3 with a double, his 26th of the year. It kind of, I don't know, it was, I hadn't even kept an eye on Detroit. It was literally Cleveland that was giving me the flux. It was giving me agita for all my Italian people. Cleveland. Minnesota here and there. Cleveland. Minnesota also, but yeah. We put that to bed. Took 2 out of 3. And Detroit leapfrogs both of those two. Minnesota and Cleveland. So we got some work to do. The White Sox are off today. The next top of the morning topic. Even though the White Sox are off today, the White Sox host the Reds on Tuesday. $5 Tuesdays. $5 menu. $5 for Modelo beers. $5 for Coke product, for pop, the bottles of pop, the Coke products, Coke, Sprite, the Johnny Water, whatever else. $5 for hot dogs. $5 for nachos. $5 for, God bless it. There's 6 items. Oh, slice of pizza. It's the beer, the Modelo beer, the Coke products, hot dog, nachos, pizza, and there's one more I can't think of what the 5th or the 6th, item is. That's $5 on Tuesday. I love it. I love it. My man King Booker World checking in. What's up, Papa? Like Shawn, Mashawn, Courtney, Levette, Shorty, Damani. Salute. Salute to you too, sir. Tuesday at the rate, hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Now, Cincinnati is a crap team. They are 6 games under 500. They have the exact opposite record of us. We are 5 games over. They're 5 games under. The White Sox are 61-56. The Reds are 56-61. They are the bottom of the AL Central. The White Sox must not take this team for granted. They must not look at their record and say, hey, they're in last place, and take them lightly, overlook them. They're in no position to overlook anybody. Anybody. Black Diamond's in the house. It's top of the morning, gang. FGB, injuries, and more injuries. This is getting ridiculous. Yeah. This sucks. This sucks. But keeping it moving. Moving on to the next top of the morning topic. The Cubs. The Cubs beat the Royals. They manhandled the Royals yesterday 10-2 to win that series as well. 2 games to 1, just like the White Sox did. Matthew Boyd showing everyone he's the ace of this staff. He got the win yesterday, going 7 strong innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 punch-outs. Ian Happ, have a day, young man. He is 3 for 5, a homer. His 20th, driving in his 50th and 51st RBI of the year. Miguel Amaya was 2 for 5, a homer, his 4th, driving in his 19th, 20th, and 21st RBIs of the year. Michael Conforto, he contributed. He was 2 for 4 with his 25th and 26th RBIs of the year. The Cubs, they have the day off today as well. But they traveled to the nation's capital, D.C., to the district. They play the tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry, 5:45 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that on the Marquee Network or listen to it on their flagship station, 104.3 FM or 670 AM. The Score. The probables for that game. For the Northsiders, Shota Imanaga is on the bump for you guys. He's 8-9 with a 3.60 ERA, going up against Jake Irvin for the Nats. He's 2-5 with a 5.37 ERA. Good day off for the boys from all the baseball teams, taking 2 out of 3 over the weekend. And what did I tell you? Just go 2 out of 3. Just 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is all we need. No long, crazy win streaks necessary. We'll take them, but that's not necessary. My guy Rick Gonzalez finally checking in, boy. What's going on, buddy? He's like, hola, amigo. You forgot the $5 Polish sausages. FGB and hashtag F visiting Wisconsin. Is it the Polishes that are 5? I cannot remember what the... And I was looking for it the other day. I was looking for the little post that the White Sox had for the $5 Tuesdays, mentioning what the items were that were $5. I couldn't find it. It's annoying me to all get out. Is it Italian sausage or Polish sausages that are $5? I didn't think that was it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I know, I'm trying to look for it. Rick says, for sure, bro, my high ass had 3 of them on my birthday. FGB. Okay. Rick says the Polish sausages because he had 3 of them. He knows firsthand. Oh, man, that's awesome. That is awesome. And let me tell you something. The Ozzy tribute, that was something special, man. That was something special. The crowd was crazy. So all of what's really nuts is we got a email from the White Sox. And we didn't know if we were going to drive down or whatever. I'm not sure. We hadn't decided that yet. But they got emails saying that all the parking spaces were taken. Everybody prepaid for parking. Everybody. I was like, wow. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm not parking there. So what I did, I drove down to the Mariano's parking, Mariano's strip mall, where the Mariano's is on Archer and Ashland, and the south end of it is 33rd and Ashland, where I parked in there, went to 35th and hopped the bus because all the parking was taken. It was so cool. The lines were long, but they moved pretty well. They weren't too crazy. Wasn't too bad. And just the fans chanting Ozzy, 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 Ozzy. It was awesome. Ozzy going up there being, he was taken back by emotion. And I thought it was so cool where he mentioned he said in years to come, he wants his grandkids to look up there and say, abuelo, grandpa is still with him, is still here. He talked about being fortunate to be drafted by this organization. This organization was fortunate enough to draft him. It was a match made in heaven. Okay. I love, Ozzy was a outspoken guy, never really bit his tongue. He said what he had to say, straight and to the point. How we like to do on the South Side. Okay. His work ethic was second to none. Amazing fielder, Gold Glove winner. And just his persona as a player and then as a manager were second to none. He's a man of the people. Definitely a man for the people and of the people. He talked about what I thought was really dope was they had a lot of tributes to him. People came on, and they had quite a few tributes of the people who worked at the stadium. And I thought that was dope. Okay? And he said he talked about it, and he said, he goes, those are the types of people my dad would talk to. Because he came from humble beginnings. Okay? And the hardworking people who make things go, make things run, who are often, almost all the time, behind the scenes and never get noticed. Those are the real people that you like to meet. They got stories. Okay, you get to, you befriend them. A lot of times you have a lot in common. And as he said that, he goes, those are the people, and they were happy. My goodness. You know why? Because Ozzy makes you feel seen. And that's all most of us want. We just want to be recognized, be seen. You won't be as famous as Ozzy. But the fact that he sees you and the fact that he takes time out to talk to you every day, come to the ballpark, even if it's a 15, 20-second small talk thing, the fact that he takes his time out to do that is cool. And he understands it means something to people. And that's why Ozzy was such a great ambassador for this team, for the game, because he talked to everybody. Everybody. As a matter of fact, the common folk are the people he'd much rather talk to, because that's what he was. He was just a common kid, a young, impoverished kid coming out of Venezuela. And those people that he talks to are the people he can relate to. But his reach, because of his personality, reaches far many more people than just the common folk. And we are happy to have him as a player, happy to have him as our World Series winning manager, and we're happy to have him as our pre and post game color commentator, analyst. What they did was dope for him. For Ozzy to get caught up in emotions and to kind of be at a loss for words is a feat in itself. Ozzy's never at a loss for words. But this thing humbled him. I remember the day that they told him I was watching TV. I was watching the game, and the day that they mentioned it on the air, and he was, obviously at the soccer park because their studio they do a makeshift studio in one of the suites up there, up in left field. And it said breaking news, and Ozzy was joking, like, what, there's gonna be another bobblehead or something like that. And that's when they mentioned that he was gonna have his number retired. He got emotional. His wife was there, she was behind the camera. She was off screen, and you couldn't see her. But he got emotional. Because Ozzy is the cool part about Ozzy, regardless of whether you like him, you don't like him, you can't deny, I'll tell you this, you can't deny what an amazing player he was as far defensively. But he's a family guy. He loves and prioritizes his family, and he makes no bones about it. He loves his kids. He adores his grandkids. He adores being abuelo, Grandpa Ozzy. He adores it, and that's what it's about. Family first, and Ozzy puts that to the test, or puts it on display every time. How many times on the pre or post game he'll say, say hello to Adela, his oldest grandchild is Adela, or also Ozzy the third. He'll say hi to them on the air, and he embraces being grandpa. And if you saw his grandson, also the oldest boy, he came dressed in a 1983 White Sox uniform, which was pretty dope. And so just happy. I'm happy for him. Like I said, he's my second favorite Chicago White Sox of all time. My favorite is Harold Baines. My favorite was Harold Baines, and Ozzy is second. And now, I said, I think I might even get an Ozzy Guillen Sox jersey now. I think I might do that. Just because. Anyway, keeping it moving. Last top of the morning topic, what we were talking about earlier, the Bears. The Bears have a growing list of injured players up at Hallis Hall during training camp. Their injuries are running rampant, not just through the Bears organization, throughout the NFL. There are quite a few teams who have some of their star players banged up. It's been a rough training camp for the NFL for a lot of the stars, and wow, it is something that yeah. No, Shorty, I don't have an Ozzy because I didn't have any. All my jerseys, all my Sox jerseys are custom. I have my name on it because I would hate to get it and then the player leaves. Then I have his old jersey I can't use. Because I'm not going to wear, and how much you guys know how much I love Yohan Moncada. I wasn't going to get a yo-yo jersey, especially after he started having some problems. And I was like, yeah, he's definitely not going to be here for a long period of time. So, yeah, I decided a long time ago, 20 years ago, I wouldn't get the jersey of a current player. So it's going to be mine, just my name. But I didn't. I recently, I could get Ozzy. because he's just a cool guy. He's a winner. He's charismatic, and I love it. Cornelia says Ozzy's honor was well deserved. Congratulations, Ozzy. Yeah. The South Side said I have a Big Hurt jersey. I can see that. Rick said his favorite Sox players are Frank and Baines, FGB. Those are two good. Those are two great ones. But here's the question though: why wasn't Frank at Ozzy's jersey retirement? That was the big question. I didn't know. If they had a beef, I didn't know they did. And if they do, I don't know what it's about. But very conspicuous by his absence was Frank Thomas and his former teammate and his former manager's jersey retirement. King Booker says Frank and the World Series management are on the outs. White Sox management are on the outs. I get it, but it wasn't about them. That's the thing. It wasn't about them. It was about your boy, Ozzy, being there. That's what I don't understand. That's what I don't understand. Like, you just go. Yeah, I hear you. Rick said because not being included in the top Black Sox players of all time, FGB. Yeah, I agree. I can see that. I can see that. But this wasn't about the White Sox. This was about your boy. This is about your guy, Ozzy, a guy you played with and a guy that managed you. You didn't have to go. You know what I mean? Like, that's boggling my mind, bro. That's boggling my mind. And if I'd be hurt if I were Ozzy. Ozzy really didn't use him in the World Series run, if I remember, FGB. No, he didn't, because he was hurt. The big hurt was hurt. The big hurt was hurt most of the year. He wasn't a huge factor in the 2005 World Series because he was hurt most of the year. That's why. And even though they were teammates, I was just like, I got a championship to win. So I would see, we would always see them on some of the post-game shows, and the chemistry was great. So I don't know. I don't know. If Ozzy feels a certain type of way, he's got every right to. He's got every right to. He's got every right to. And I don't know. I just think it was a bad look for Frank. I understand the organization did you wrong. Okay, I get it. But this is your boy, man. This is your guy. Wow. That was very conspicuous to me. And we do know that Frank can hold a grudge. Frank, when he's mad, and again, I don't have anything negative to say about him being upset with the organization about the black athlete, the black athletes, the top black players in White Sox history, where he was named off. He's left off of. But this is your guy. This is the thing that my guy. Like, you have to put all that shit aside, dude. If you cared about Ozzy as a player and as a manager, you got to go. You got to go. It's not about for the White Sox, going there for the White Sox and seeing. It's about being there for your friends. And that's got to hurt. If I'm telling you, I don't know if Ozzy feels a certain way, but if he does, he's got every right to. Yeah, Shawn, it still bothers Big Hurt. So, but now you're gonna take it out on your boy. You're gonna take it out on your former teammate. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Jordan and Pippen also had beef also with Jerry, FGB. Yeah. But has there ever been... Was Scotty and Mike at each other's jersey retirement? I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting if we got to find that out. But you know what? I'm happy for Ozzy. Well deserved. Ozzy is what you see. He's a great family man, great baseball mind, and I'm glad that he played for my favorite baseball team of all time, my Chicago White Sox, and that he's still involved with them. I'm very, very grateful, as are a lot of Sox fans. So, listen, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, all right, we're going to welcome our guy, Herb Lawrence, from formerly of CHGO. And we're going to talk a little White Sox baseball. How huge it was to taking 2 out of 3. Hagen Smith getting his first his major league victory yesterday. We got that. So keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brymere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman, kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
No, I don't know. I'm scared. I mean, you're so...
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Welcome back to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm excited to bring our next guest on. We have a lot to talk about. Formerly of CHGO, still a contributor over there, I believe. He is White Sox fanatic, such as I am. You can find him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. It's his last name, Lawrence, spelled backwards. Guys, let's welcome back to ShawnSierraSports, Herb Lawrence. Herb, good morning, Papa. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on again, Shawn. Appreciate it.
Better be doing good, damn it. We took 2 out of 3 from them jokers.
Yeah, I was definitely worried about that. It's coming off that Boston series where they got swept, and then that devastating loss they had in Boston at the end of there on Thursday night.
Right.
And then to lose on Friday, I'm like, all right, these people are only 2 games behind us, and they're throwing some pretty good pitchers. And Gavin Williams on Saturday on Ozzie Guillen Day. But as we know, there's no way the White Sox were going to lose on Ozzie Guillen Day. And they showed out, and I was at the game. Me and my guy Shawn were at the game in the 108, and it was just an exciting, great night for White Sox baseball. And then they got the job done yesterday, sweeping or getting 2 out of 3 from the Cleveland Guardians. It feels good. 3.5 game lead feels nice.
Yeah, it was real good. I was there Saturday as well. I was in section 102, not too far from you guys. And one of the things that I really was concerned about, as you mentioned, was that 4-game losing streak. The White Sox going into Friday's game were the only team in Major League Baseball that hadn't had a 4-game losing streak. And I'm like, okay, they're not going to do it today. It's not going to happen. Sure enough, Cleveland came in and whooped our ass. Nothing more, nothing less. They were making a lot of unusual mistakes. What do you think caused a lot of the mistakes and the brain farts that the Sox had on Friday?
I don't know. Like they had usually on getaway days on Thursdays or Sundays, teams schedule games to be in the afternoon. So the team that is not from there, gets to go on to their next city. Boston didn't do that. I know Baltimore used to not do that for the White Sox too, but Boston scheduled a regular local time 7:00 game, and that game went to extras into the 12th inning. So the White Sox theoretically didn't get to leave Boston until after midnight there, and then get back to Chicago sometime in like 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And so, the lack of sleep, the jet lag, et cetera, you could put that on there. And then they played like it. I mean, and also Will Venable managed like that, because that is the game where that's the game that he went out to the pitcher's mound for the second time. Well, his pitching coach had went out that same inning. He didn't know that. It was the second time, and on that second trip, you have to take the pitcher out of the game. And so then the first inning, while the White Sox are already dealing with a bullpen that was depleted from that Boston series, they have to go to the bullpen immediately there. And like the focus was off immediately, and I knew they were going to lose that game right when that happened, because that is a blunder I haven't seen a manager make. And I am a Will Venable fan, and subsequently he has apologized and agonized about the mistake that he has made, which I very much admire, that a coach is like, you know what, that was my fault, and I'm at fault, and I put my team in a trick bag right there. And that game was just lost by that blunder, because if your leader's not ready and not focused, how can the players be focused? And I see that the next day, and I think, seeing some of the 2005 World Series guys and Ozzie Guillen and all the people who showed up got some focus into these guys and say, hey, these guys also weren't expected to win anything. But now it's 21 years later, and you hear the crowd pops for these guys. 21 years later, we can do that. Maybe not win a World Series, but we can come back and say, hey, we were the 2026 AL Central Division champions, and have like a 10-year reunion. It's like, hey, you guys remember that guy? Yeah, man, what a great guy. What a great person. And I think that kind of snapped them into like, okay, we need to focus on what the task is at hand. The team that is trying to chase us down is right in our face. Let's go and grab these dubs. And I don't think that is a small coincidence that their playing of good baseball the next 2 days is not somehow connected to seeing Ozzy, seeing all the 2005 World Series champions 21 years later on that field.
I think I might agree with you, Herb, because there's an aura when those players come around. There's a buzz in the ballpark, and there wasn't just one.
No,
it was a slew of them on Saturday. I mean, from Scotty Pods to obviously Mark Burley, AJ. We saw Joe Creedy, Tadahito Gucci had the video tribute. Jose Contreras was there. I saw him sitting down. Like it wasn't just one guy. It wasn't Mark Burley. It wasn't AJ. It was a collective. It gave that stadium life, and I believe they fed off of that. I really do, and I think that was awesome. And I got to give credit to Will Venable. I love the fact that this is why this guy's one hell of a manager. Now I don't know if he's the guy to take it from B to C, but he's sure enough as hell the guy to take it from A to B. And I don't know if you saw it in game. They interviewed him. Like, what happened? He's like, oh, is this my mistake? And then post game, they interviewed him. Just my mistake. I just forgot how many times. It's on me. It's all my fault. And move on. It was a tough question to ask. It had to be asked. It was asked and answered directly. No stepping around it, dancing around it. He's like, my mistake. Just what he demands from his players is accountability, and he was front and center. That's why this team continues to do well, because he showed firsthand that he's not willing to do anything that he's demanding of his players. Whatever he's demanding of his players, accountability, he's willing to be accountable for himself. And that, to me, spoke volumes for him, his character, and why this team plays so darn well.
I mean, you said it perfectly there. I mean, I don't usually like to compare sports jobs to everyday people's jobs, but in our jobs, that's anything we would like to have from our bosses is honesty and accountability. Like, if they're going to tell you and ask you to do something, like you said, the fact that they're willing to do it themselves or to put themselves through that and do the mea culpas when they do step in it, I'm sure it went a far way with those players. Like, yeah, good job, coach. Good job, Skip. We know you're in the bunker with us. And so that probably made the players feel like very like, all right, he's with us. He's not just above us. He's not just a guy that's wearing a uniform for no reason. No, that guy is wearing the uniform because he is a Chicago White Sox. He is us. He probably doesn't pick up a bat anymore or throw any balls, but he's with us just as much, and he'll take blame when he is wrong. And so I'm sure that goes down. And so when other players mess up, they know, like, hey, my coach has already messed up. He's taking accountability. I can do the same thing. He's given me permission by doing it himself, taking accountability. And there are some times that the players step in it and do something wrong procedurally. And now I think the example that he has given is like a permission to them. It's like, you can do the same and you can come out on the other side just fine.
Yeah, as long as you deal with it head on. And it's my mistake. I just forgot. I didn't realize how many times. Is there anything? It was a mistake. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that it kind of bugs me with media, all right? Because they'll ask the same questions 2 or 3 times. Like, dude, I made a mistake. You make a mistake in everything in your daily life, at your job. I made a mistake. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. Well, are there any safety protocols? Like, no, I made the mistake. I love how he just, you know what I mean? And it annoyed me when a couple, when people asked them again and again, like, dude, I asked you, it was asked, I answered, I didn't dance around it. I took accountability. Let's move on. It just bugs me. Maybe that's from the former player of me, because I asked the question. Boom. I answered the question and he moved on. I loved it. Talk to me about this team, man. Talk to me about my boys. Colson Montgomery, Miguel Vargas. Mooney's back hitting some homers. He hit the Mooney bomb on Saturday night, which I thought was a fly ball. And Lord have mercy. How awesome is that trio?
They're otherworldly. Like we used to say, I mean, everybody says the long term, a long time term of ball go far, team go far. And it seems like the hitting director, Ryan Fuller, and the new hitting coach, Derek Showman, are proponents of that because we've seen the years of them not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and then you see the 100 losses gather up. And I know people like, oh, they can only score while hitting home runs, which is not true, but it's a nice, popular thing for people to say. But when you have people who can hit the ball over the fence, it's a game changer. You're never out of a game. And when you have Munetaka hitting 25 plus, you have Miguel Vargas hitting a career high in home runs. Now you have Colson Montgomery with his 26th home run yesterday, and not like cheap like home runs. I know Mune hit one on Friday where the game was kind of out of hand, but as you said on Sunday, he hit that home run to get us started in our offense. And then you get the Colson Montgomery home run in that happens on Sunday to give us the big time lead of 5-2. That's a huge home run. And they've hit home runs in a game 5 times this year, which is tied for the record with a bunch of other teams. If they do it again, they'll set the record of each of them hitting a home run in the same game 6 times. And I don't believe that I think they're going to do it multiple more times in this season because the schedule is about to lighten up a lot after they play the Cubs and the Braves next week. They're playing mostly teams under 500, and most of the teams that they're playing are in the AL Central. So they're going to be facing competition that's lesser than what they've been facing with the Cleveland Guardians and the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays, which they did last week. Now they get to chill out and play against the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. Then they have a big time series versus a team that's under 500, but still, that's the team that's chasing them right behind them in the Detroit Tigers up there in Detroit. So I think those players will be hitting more and more home runs this year together. And that is a thing of beauty when you can hit the ball over the fence. You give your team a decided advantage in the White Sox this year. Even their smaller players are hitting the ball over the fence. I mean, the Chase Mydroff game on Thursday, the game that they lost in Boston. That man hit a home run off of Aroldis Chapman. He's the only player in Major League history to hit a home run off of Aroldis Chapman and Jacob Mizorowski. And he did that the first game of the year. Jacob Mizorowski, who is going to be the NL Cy Young, and Aroldis Chapman, who was a definite Hall of Famer, and Chase Mydroff, a guy that pretty much was like an add-in player of the trade for Garrett Crochet because the more headliners were Teal and Braden Montgomery. But Chase Mydroff, he has played exceptional second base. He's the F-WAR leader in second baseman in the junior circuit in the American League. And so he is playing some great baseball, hitting the ball over the fence occasionally. And then we get Sam Antonacci, one of my favorite players, scrappy, does everything to get on the base, just tied record where he's got hit 21 times this year. I think the White Sox actual season record is 23 times set by a couple people, including I think Jose Abreu is part of that. But he does whatever it takes to get on base and to contribute to the team. You get great play from other players, except for like every other player. Like Tristan Peters is falling off a little bit, but he got a big time hit yesterday to get the White Sox, I think, tied up. Every other player in every other position has performed this year. We have gotten 0 from the catcher position, and yet we're still in first place. That's amazing. Like in all of the players in all the positions that I thought coming into this year that the White Sox would get production from, catcher was the thing. Like, no, Kyle Teal and Edgar Carroll, what they did last year, I think they're just going to grow and keep on hitting. Kyle got hurt. Edgar was terrible early in the year, and yesterday he had 3 walks, so hopefully that's lead to something that's going to be better. But for the fact that they don't have anything from catcher and they're still succeeding is amazing.
It really is, guys. We're joined by Herb Lawrence, White Sox analyst, contributor over at CHGO White Sox. We're talking White Sox baseball here on ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. You know, I am in love with this team. I just love how scrappy they are. I love their mentality. I love their never say die attitude. And yeah, the thing that I really like is that they are very talented. Their talent just hasn't matured yet. So were you surprised that they didn't add? They added some pieces at the deadline. Did you want more? Were you happy with it? Did you think they would do less? Talk to me about the deadline because that just passed last week. And I want to get your thoughts on the deadline for the White Sox.
Is one of the things that I'm disappointed about this team is that they didn't see the deficiencies on this team and address them. Like Luis Castillo is fine. He's not the pitcher that you think he was, like a good, solid 1, 2, or 3 pitcher while he was in Seattle. A guy that was striking out his opponents at a 11, 12% clip. Now he's down in the single digits. He's not using his what I think made him really good is his changeup going off of his 97, 98 mile per hour fastball. He doesn't use the changeup as much, and that's what the White Sox want him to do. So they got a player that I think out of all the starters acquired by other teams was probably on the bottom rung. Like there were other players available, but they're more of a rental, like the Kevin Gausman and Clay Holmes and Robbie Ray. There was more rentals that the White Sox wanted to stay away from. But I say you didn't expect to be here. And as I said on CHGO, like you are presented with new facts and new information. Beginning year, you weren't supposed to be competing for anything. It was just supposed to be a better year than it was last year. And now that you see that it is a much better year than you're expecting, you have to change your expectations and change your processes of what you thought where the trade deadline was going to be. You were probably thinking of, I'm going to sell off this player, this player, this player, this player. Now it's a different information. Okay, you see the American League is there for the taking. There's not really a dominant team in the American League. I think that's a point where you have to push all in, especially since there is a work stoppage that is definitely looming, and it might wipe out a good portion of 2027 season, if not all of it. So I would have said that Chris Getz should have acted as if he's managing or general managing the 2026 White Sox. I think he was general managing just anybody's team in the history of Major League Baseball. Like he was acting as if the factors that are around him weren't present, and he was managing in a vacuum. And this is how you general manage in a vacuum. You just go and add a little bit. But the moment called for more. He didn't give us more. And already Joey Bart's probably out for the year with a broken hand when he got hit in Boston. You got Brazoban. He's been pretty solid in his time that he's been here. Luis Castillo wasn't as bad as the 5 runs that he gave up in Boston in his debut, might say, but he also did give a home run up to a guy who's hit 3 home runs in the last 2 years in Connor Wong. So, like, your acquisitions, and another one in Brenton Doyle, was a redundant acquisition. You already had Everson Pereira there, who's a younger version of Brenton Doyle, a little less on the defense side, but, like, there was no, like, man, this acquisition makes us go from this level to the next level. It went from a nice above average level to slightly above then. The team was better. They are better than they were the day before, but not like, man, we're better to win the AL. We're better. Now we're primed to battle the Tampa Bay Rays and the Yankees if we meet them in the ALCS, because they don't have a starting pitcher besides Sean Burke that I was like, yeah, that guy can match up with Cam Schlitter. That guy can match up with nebulous Tampa Bay Rays starter. You know, like, we only got one of those guys. It's going to be a 7-game series. Sean Burke can only go 3 times. So give me a second guy. Anthony K's been good, but he's not top of the rotation good when it comes to the playoffs. So I thought they could have got a guy like Kevin Gausman, who has playoff experience as recently as last year when he went to the World Series with the Toronto Blue Jays. Robbie Ray has won a Cy Young and has been in the playoffs. Or they could have gone to Clay Holmes, who's got youth and a filthy slider and changeup combinations, a sweeper combination that they would have worked here with the White Sox. But I hope the players had the mindset. While I'm upset, the players are like, you know what? Our general manager believes in us so much that he gave us so little to improve this team, because he thinks that this team, as currently constituted, is good enough to win whatever is in the future from us for the AL Central or an AL CS appearance. So I hope the players took it as that, like, hey, that guy believes in us so much that he said we don't need help. What we got in our lineup is good enough, and they took that to heart. But they hadn't played like that in the Boston series and in that first game in Cleveland. So that's why I think the Ozzy thing is kind of more pressing, and then also Will Venable's leadership is also more pressing than the them believing that Chris Getz has their back.
What is it with Boston? Why do we always have an issue with Boston? There's something about that organization that we just don't perform well, because they were, if I'm not mistaken, they were in last when we played them the last time here.
Yeah, and they swept us.
Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, what the hell?
That started the whole thing. Like they were in a 3-game winning streak before they played the White Sox, left with a 6-game winning streak, and then continued on to win like 9 more games after that in a row behind us. And they had travel problems too. Remember, if they left, they played that game on the White Sox on Thursday afternoon. This is a getaway day where the White Sox extended the courtesy to the Boston Red Sox to play an afternoon game on their getaway day. Yeah. But Boston had flight issues because it was storming that whole night into day for Chicago, and so Boston didn't leave until the day of and got to New York probably an hour before game time, and they had to delay the game a little bit, but they kept on rattling off wins. I don't know about Boston, what making them so good, but people have pointed out that at a point this year they were 20th at hitting sliders. And then if you look at the start of the win streak and through now, they're the best team against hitting sliders. And I know Boston fans are like, oh, just jealous. We beat you all the time. I'm like, hey, man, in your recent past, you have cheating allegations. Your manager had to sit out a year because he was suspended from the team because of cheating. And that manager just got fired at the beginning of the year. And your general manager is under fire, and you were in last place, and now you're the hottest team in baseball. That doesn't make sense. There's no one on your team that's carrying you. There's no one that's like, man, that guy, he's a superstar. There's no Manny Ramirez's. There's no David Ortiz's. Yeah, and so
Kevin Youkilis, nothing, nobody.
None of that stuff. Like, there's good hitters, not great hitters. And so you guys are killing the ball now? You're dominating sliders? Hey, I'm not too far from believing that this might be true. As people say, they live by one of the greatest higher institutions for higher learning all around them. Harvard, Boston, either BC or BU, and MIT, all around them. I'm sure there's been somebody that's been recruited to help them gain an edge, which they might not think is cheating, but no one else is using it, and they might be using some other electronics to help them figure out what pitches are coming, because there doesn't make sense. They were 20th in the league at hitting a particular pitch, and now they're the best by far at hitting that same pitch in the same season with the same players.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. Not at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Think about the whole Boston experience. The Patriots with Deflategate. Like, they've been talked about cheating in that city. And do you think that any of those Boston fans care if they cheated to win those championships? No, those banners fly forever. However you get there, if you have a culture in that city of do whatever it takes to win a championship, you're going to do whatever it takes to win a championship, including, doing it not by the level.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying was a person or was a fan base. That's Boston. That's the Boston fan base. 100%. And that's for sure. How good do you think this White Sox team can be? Because they just keep winning by hook or by crook. They got power. They can win small ball. They can win 1-0. How good? I mean, we faced the Yankees. We got the Yankees. We got the Rays. Boston was, man, that's another. But this team, Herb, I'm kind of nervous to say it out loud, but bump it. Like, I think they can get to the AL Championship, get ALCS.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can get there. They got pitchers, okay, a couple of good pitchers. If Davis Martin ever gets back to his first half of the season form, now we got 2 pitchers, him and Burke.
Mm-hmm.
we got a closer now in Brazoban, all right? But not that we needed him because Grant Taylor.
Yep.
Grant Taylor was pitching lights out in the ninth, so we're good. Do you think they can get to the ALCS, bro? Because I think they have a legitimate shot.
Yeah, as it currently is in standings, the White Sox are the number 2 seed, and number 2 seed in each of the leagues gets a bye with a 1 seed. So the White Sox automatically be the American League Division Series when they first play the playoffs if they continue on this and they gain the 2 seed or the 1 seed here in the AL. So they would play a team coming off a 5-game set or a 3-game set. Wherever it might be one of the wildcard teams. Like I think the wildcard teams are the Yankees right now, the Boston Red Sox, and I believe it's a team out west. I'm not sure, but none of the central teams are in the playoffs except for the division leading White Sox right now. So one of those teams wins, though they come to Chicago and play the White Sox. I can see Sean Burke throwing a nice gem in that first game, getting a revamped Davis Martin, and then what Anthony Kay has been doing as of late. I think they've won 8 of his last 10 starts that he's pitched in. And so I could see them winning a series, a best of 5, a best of 7 series to get to the ALCS. And then, maybe running into a buzzsaw with the Yankees if Cam Schlitter is pitching and you got a rejuvenated Max Fried and Garrett Cole, et cetera, et cetera. I could see that being a tough out for the White Sox. But also I could see them saying, F it. We're here. Let's go. Let's win. Let's hit home runs. Let's put ball in the air and see what happens. In that short porch in Yankee Stadium, all the lefties the White Sox has, all you have to hit is pop flies, and those balls are going out. So I can see the White Sox eventually being in the ALCS, if not the World Series. And I have no delusions of grandeur that they can win the actual World Series because the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Now, if we play the Cubs, that's a team that's you throw away the records. You throw away all the things you know. We get a red line series versus the Cubs, man. I want to see that, and I actually don't want to see it because the win would be euphoric. Winning a World Series, no matter what. Over the Cubs again, since the first time in 2006 that they won it, 1906, would be euphoric. Like the Cub fans couldn't be able to tell us anything.
Nothing.
But the opposite would happen if they won a World Series over us. God, they would tie us up in World Series wins, and it would be in our lifetimes. Oh man, we wouldn't hear the end of it, and I would be like, oh man, that's so tough.
You know what?
I can't do it, so I don't want it now.
My thing is, they probably have to go to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
how banged up would they be if you know what I mean, getting through the Dodgers? If they got, you know what I mean, if they got through them and got to the World Series, because the American League is wide open. The White Sox, the thing I love about it, the reason they lost Friday was the exact opposite of the reason they've been winning. They've been playing fundamentally sound baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, taking extra bases, not committing errors, not giving teams extra outs. Okay, and coming up with clutch hits. Those are the things. Those are the reasons they've been winning. Because they don't have the best talent in the world, but they have talent. They have a lot of talent. It just hasn't matured yet. Because you're in your first or second year. Very rarely do you become a superstar in your first or second year. You got to grow into it. Okay, so the talent is there. But Friday, there's just too many mental mistakes. And the rest of the year, they haven't been. If they continue to play like that, which why would they not? Will's got that. He runs a tight ship over there. So they're going to be in every game. And yeah, I can see them winning the AL Central. I can see them getting through the first round, getting a bye, getting through their first series. I can see that get to the ALCS. Dude, how crazy would that be? From 3 straight 100-loss seasons to the American League Championship Series. That would be insane.
Yeah, that's it's stuff that books are written about. And as we're talking about Will Venable, he is the odds-on favorite because of what you just said. They went from 101 losses last year to possibly being the AL Central champion. So he's going to be the American League manager of the year. And the story that the White Sox are having this year is things that moves are made of. And I cannot believe that we are living this. But as White Sox fans, we deserve it. We went through the slog. We went through the 500 pounds of filth-smelling foulness that
500
Andy
yards.
Dufresne. Yeah.
500 yards.
500 yards, yeah. And that Andy Dufresne went through. And now we're on the other side. And soon we can be cashing those checks. Yeah, soon we'll be cashing those checks. And hitting out of town and never looking back at those 100 lost years and thinking, man, what a footnote. What a bad 3 years we had there. But now we're ascending. We're never looking back.
I hope that's the case. Last question before we let you go in again. We're joined by Herb Lawrence. He's a contributor, White Sox analyst and contributor over at CHGO White Sox. We're talking White Sox baseball here on Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. The work stoppage, are you concerned about it? Because, I mean, once they got the Dodgers got Skubal, most people are like, all right, it's probably going to be a work stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that will affect this team with baseball play, with the players being locked out? Because regardless of what they get this year, like, I don't think they're going to win the World Series. There's a slim chance, but I don't think they're going to win it. And then where does that put them next year? You know what I mean? Is this how much what is it going to do to this team?
I think that there is going to be a work stoppage. I think the date is the 1st of December is when the managers are going to lock us out. It's multiple, or the owners are going to lock the players out. It's multiple fronts because it's owners versus owners, big market owners versus small market owners. Because the Pittsburgh situation, where Robert Nutting, the owner of that team, pays very little in actual talent or upgrades and things like that, but he gets money because of revenue sharing, and he makes more money than the other teams who are actually trying out there. He's making good money because of the revenue sharing, because he's a small market team. So those people are fighting. And then the owners as a collective are fighting the players to try to have a salary cap. The reason why they're trying to have salary cap is to have cost certainty. And if you have cost certainty, then you have people, other investors, other people with money saying, okay, I know where your bottom line is. I have a solid foundation of knowing where you're going to be every year. Here's more money. So the owners would get more money as a collective if they have cost certainty like the rest of the leagues. They're going to be saying that, well, this produces more results like the NFL, the NBA, with more parity. And I hear you, and it's a bad time for me to say that, the MLB does have parity with the Dodgers on their way for the 3rd championship, but we hadn't had a back-to-back champion before the Dodgers had won it last year since the early 2000s when the Yankees won it. So through that whole time, there were different teams winning the World Series each year.
Yeah,
and
back in 16.
Yeah, and then if you look at the other leagues, it's not like there's real parity. There's the same teams are winning the Super Bowl. There's like a group of 6 teams that have won the Super Bowl for years on end. And so it's not like the Bears have been in that mix. Yeah, they've had the chances to, but it's always because of the personnel and people who are putting the personnel together, just like in baseball. But the players are going to resist against that salary cap because it is one of the things that they have that no other league has. And that's why they say the MLBPA is the strongest of the unions, of the player unions, because they hold firm on their beliefs that we don't need a salary cap. The league will market itself and will dictate whatever somebody needs to get paid by however much an owner wants to pay him. And I think they'll hold steady to this. And I think the owners this time want to break the players. The way they're going to break them is have a long extended work stoppage because of the rank and file people who are making under $1 million or somewhere where they're probably have to get a second job after a while. Those guys will be barking at the top guys who are like, hey, I make $60 million this year. I'm good. I don't need baseball. I'm chilling at my house. But the guy who has just made the major leagues, like most of the White Sox, will be like making $700,000. Good money, but everybody wants a piece of this. And I can't just live
from
off of
generational wealth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't live off of $700,000. And they'll be barking at the top people and say, "Hey man, I know we want to hold firm, but it's 5 months in. My kid needs this. My wife was talking about this. I need to work, and I can't just go back to a regular 9 to 5. I was drafted out of high school. Baseball was my job, so I don't have any other skills besides baseball." And they'll be talking to the people at top and say, "Hey, I understand you're well off and you're good. Unless you're going to let me borrow some of that money, hey, we need to go and talk to these people in some real settlements." And that's what the owners want. They want the rank and file, the members of the MLBPA that don't make a lot of money to be barking at the top people and say, "We need to settle for a salary cap. We'll still be making a bunch of money. We'll all be happy, blah, blah, blah." And that's what the owner's plan is. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the players are going to cave in, and the owners are not going to give up. So it's going to be longer than other work stoppages in the past. It's going to be very contentious because of that first reason I gave, with the owners fighting each other, and then also the owners fighting the players, and then the lower players fighting the top players. So there's so many factions going on. I believe it's going to go well into the season. It might wipe out the whole entire 2027 because they're not going to come to a accord for a baseball season to be played in a fashion where you can get it done before the month of November. So I think this White Sox team will be affected greatly. As I said, they have mostly players that don't make any money. They'll be talking to, we want to play baseball. Yeah. Sam Antonacci's, Chase Maidross of the world will be talking to the top people and say, "We want to play baseball. We need to do whatever we need to do to get that game going." And so, yeah, I think that it's a bad time. And that's why I want to push all in this year to say, let's just win something. Let's try to win the whole thing this year, because you can only win the championship the year that you're playing in. Right. And worry about next year when next year comes up. And if there is no next year, I think just like the 94 strike, you come back, play in 95, Cleveland's already good now, and they're gone. And you're battling for second place from here on out. Now, do I think the Cleveland or the Guardian or the Tigers or the Twins or the Royals will be that Cleveland Indians good? Probably not. But it's the same scenario where a good White Sox team was ascending, and then they got derailed by a work stoppage, and not to get back on that AL Central winning train until 2000. I would be so pissed if we didn't get back onto winning baseball for 6 more seasons after this one. It'll be so disappointing. So that's all I worry about. It's like the history and past being prologue, and this White Sox team being stymied by a work stoppage right when they're about to get going.
Herb, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Do me a huge favor before you go. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Well, they can go online, and I'm on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. They can go to, I think I'm on Blue Sky. I don't do a lot there. It's just my name, Herb Lawrence, at Blue Sky. And then Instagram, same thing, Herb Lawrence. And then if you're on CHGO White Sox, Shawn does post games 4 days a week. I'm on 2 of those post games during the week. So I was on yesterday, and I'll be on this Friday after the first game versus Detroit. I'll be on the post game for that one. So check me out, Ecknerwall23 on Twitter, and I'll be tweeting stuff out where you can find me on other platforms.
Dude, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. You have a phenomenal day, would you, buddy?
Thank you very much, Shawn. Thanks for having me on. You too, brother.
All right, we'll talk soon. Guys, that's Herb Lawrence, contributor over at CHGO. Man, our White Sox, I'm fired up. Trying not to look ahead to the work stoppage. And, the one thing that I've learned is you treat every year as that's it. You can't worry about next year. All right, what if we're not hitting next year? What if our pitching not? We're in a position now. We're in first place in the AL Central. Remember, I said I had changed my course. Well, things change. Situations change that cause for different opinions. And that's why I said, hey, let's go all in. I was hurt when I was annoyed we didn't get Clay. Jeez, now I just forgot the pitcher's name. The one the Cubs got. I was like, what the hell? I was hoping the Sox could get him. Excuse me. Clay Holmes. I was hoping the Sox could get him. Remember, the Sox, I even mentioned it on the show. The White Sox sent a scout. He was doing a rehab start. And the White Sox sent a scout out to see him. I'm like, okay, Clay Holmes, that's a nice piece. Cubs ended up walking away with him, trading for him. Okay. I'm with Herb. We should have gone a little more, and his whole thing was he wanted to protect the top 10 prospects. My question is like, okay, you want Rock Chalowski protected. How many shortstops do we have? How many shortstops do we need? I mean, let's be honest. Chase Mydroff is doing a phenomenal job at second base. I'm not taking him out. Only move I see is Colson Montgomery to third. Miguel Vargas will go between DH and first base. Mune Mutatake will be DH between DH and first base. Those two guys, and Rock Chalowski will be our shortstop. Any other shortstop we have in the system? Trade pieces. Trade capital. I just really, I also would have liked for them to have gone in a little more. I would have. You didn't expect to be in the first place in the division at this late stage of the season, but you're here now. And decisions need to be made now. They need it to be made now. Like, okay, we're in first place. Can we stay there? We're getting to the playoffs, probably a first round bye. Let's go all in. And that's my issue with the White Sox. They don't spend money when they need to. Still, we haven't given a $100 million contract. The only team in baseball, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think there might be a couple others. Or one of a few teams. I want to say the only. Let me see. Let's check it out. What teams haven't given out $100? Two. Us and the A's. Well, the A's aren't giving out a $100 million contract. Us and the A's. That lets you know how we are approaching, we being fan base being part of it. The White Sox approach business as a small market team. The White Sox and the A's are the only two teams that have not given out a $100 million contract. That better break when Mooney gets his extension. That better change when Munetake Murakami gets his extension. It's embarrassing. And people can't take your organization seriously. This is a situation where you have to spend. Period. You have the money. Or do exactly what. Looking to this, I was saying this to my cousin yesterday. We had lunch. They celebrated mine and my cousin's birthday. My birthday, I remember, July 25th. Her birthday is August 2nd. So we went out to lunch, early dinner. yesterday. I was talking with her husband, and I was like, any team can do what the Dodgers are doing, and that's kick the can down the road, defer the money. You're going to get the money. You put a lump sum in an escrow account, it grows, all right, and you're still making money. You still got the TV deals every year, so you got licensing every year. You got your season ticket sales every year. But teams don't want to operate that way. Dodgers are the way that they want. They're there. So I was talking to him about it, and I'm just like, man, why wouldn't the White Sox do something like that? Why wouldn't the White Sox do something like that? If you want to get a pitcher, you want to get a big-time guy, okay, defer it. Because the Dodgers, I think it's 2037. It's mid to late 30s, it's the 2030s. When they got that bill's gonna be due. They're gonna be due over $1 billion worth of salaries, but they're moving down they're kicking the can down the road. They're making all the money this year think of all the things with the Japanese, with Shohei Ohtani, and all the different streams of revenue that they have there. With they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have a like they broadcast games over there in Japanese, things like that. All these different things that they do, different streams of income, which I hope the Sox do, because people like Munetake Murakami. A lot of Japanese fans are becoming Sox fans because he was a prolific home run hitter there, and they want to follow his career. There's another stream of income that the Sox could exploit. Another stream of income. I'm just hoping that I would like the Sox, and this is asking an old dog to learn new tricks. I would love the Sox to think outside of the box. I really would. I would love for them to do something crazy, but that's not old man Reinsdorf. That's just not him. Jason Isbia is the new owner of the Sox to be. Is he a little more aggressive? I would love to see his thoughts. Because we're the third largest market in the country. We cannot continue to act like a small market team. God bless it. We're not Oakland/Sacramento/Vegas A's. We are not the Kansas City Royals. We are not those teams. You got the money, use it. You got the money, spend it. Because guess what? When you put a good product on the field, people they'll pay it back by going to the games. They'll pay it back. You got all the parking. What did I just tell you about Saturday night? The parking was sold out. They sent emails to everyone with tickets. I don't know if they sent it Wednesday or Thursday. They said, hey, we're sold out of parking. Make other arrangements to get down to the park. Parking lots are filled or sold out. And it's what, $37 for parking now? You know how many cars there are parked there? Easily over 1,000. So you're looking at $37,000 a game times 81. That's just parking. Let me see if Google can tell us how many. White Sox parking lots. Wow. The parking lots surrounding guaranteed rate field The home stadium of the White Sox provides space for approximately 7,000 to 7,200 cars. $37. Let's do the math. Let's do it on the low end. $7,000 vehicles times $37 is $259,000 a game. $259,000 a game when they sell out. Wow. And I mean, okay, you don't sell out every game. I get it. $5,000 cars? Let's make it more. 5,000 cars is $185,000. And multiply that times 81. $14,985,000. They make over $15 million in parking a year. $15 million in parking a year. Wow. King Booker World says, Reinsdorf, you already know how I feel. We were cursed with an owner who don't give two shits about his teams. Hopefully his son is different. Yeah. Bro, $15 million. They make more than $15 million a year on parking. You figure 500. Let's just say around 15 million. Because there's some games this year, maybe not. Maybe because the Sox are playing good and they're getting closer to 6,000 and 7,000 their capacity than they're not. But man, that's a nice piece of change. Damn. Wow. Let's switch gears for a couple minutes before we get out of here. You know, we talked about this at the top of the morning. Luther Burden. We're probably not going to see him till week 1, is what we're hearing. All right. This is coming from Patrick Finley in the Chicago Sun-Times. He said, one day after limping off the practice field in the wake of a one-on-one drill against cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, wide receiver Luther Burden sat out with a groin injury. It's unclear how long he will miss. However, we have an update on that. It's crazy. We have an update. Now we'll put this up on the screen so you can see. You know, this here. We just got it this morning, this update. All right, here we go. The Luther Burden update. If you hadn't seen it already. Adam Schefter. This morning, wide receiver Luther Burden III is expected to miss the preseason due to the strained groin he suffered Saturday, but the Bears believe he should be back for the team's regular season opener versus the Panthers, per sources. So he's out of the preseason. Just what we need. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just the luck of the draw, I guess. We did have a lot of injuries last year. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Shorty says, Booker, no one can complain about the Jerry Krause era. Krause built a dynasty. They could afford to pay all those superstars at the end. Yeah, and exactly, King Booker World. The same man that told MJ not to make him regret paying him. That will forever be one of my biggest pet peeves. The man who allowed you to build the United Center. The man that everybody came to see. How many sellouts did you have? How many sellouts did you have? How many? Wow. 610 consecutive sellouts. $610 consecutive sellouts. Divided by 41. Almost 15 years. 14.87 years. 15 years of sellouts. And he's like, don't make me regret paying you. Motherfucker. What? What? You know how many sellouts he had after he retired? They were still selling out till after they retired. Two years after. The start date was November 20th, 1987 at the Chicago Stadium. End date November 7th, 2000. The historic run spanned nearly 13 years, covering 6 NBA championships, 2 home arenas, and a total of 12.4 million fans. Don't make me regret paying you. What? You're right. He didn't regret paying him because he made money after Jordan retired. After Jordan retired, it went to 2000. November 7th, 2000. King Booker says shit. They still sell out now, and they've been garbage truck juice. That's disgusting. Garbage truck juice. That's disgusting, bro. That's nasty. But anyway, I'm a little concerned with the Bears. Not very. All right. People like Kyler Gordon, I'm worried about. Wildly soft tissue injuries, bro. Why? You know what I mean? Like, there's 1 year, okay, but 2, 3 years, no. You got to do better. You were here. What were you doing? You're not. I mean, I just don't. That's got to stop. You know, the organization's pissed. Ryan Poles is pissed. You just gave him a big contract in the offseason last year. Comes back and plays 3 games after your contract extension. Ben Johnson's pissed. Dennis Allen's pissed. Like, dude, stay healthy. I don't know. But I'm anxious to see this offense. And I doubt we're going to see a lot of Caleb and crew in the first, well, all preseason, but definitely the first preseason. I don't think they're going to see much of them. It might be, if the rating might be 2 drives of turn around and hand the ball off, turn around and hand the ball off. Get a first down, then maybe we'll throw, but 3 handoffs is probably it. Caleb, you're out. My cousin's thinking about going to the game. He wants to go to the game. I'm like, all right, we'll see. But anyway, listen, an hour and a half is gone. I want to thank my guest, Herb Lawrence, for coming out talking White Sox baseball with your guy. I truly, truly appreciate it. Great stuff as always. I want you guys to have a great day. And listen, let your loved ones know you love them because tomorrow is promised to no one. Okay? Remember that. Don't forget today at 12 o'clock, 12:15, Lakina McGee and Sidney Brown and their show, Second City Sports, takes you on another 2-hour tour of Chicago sports. And do not forget, start ordering your stuff now. SportsZoneChicago.com. Get your Sports Zone Chicago hats, hoodies, quarter zips, T-shirts, the logo and the print, Bears Victory Monday shirts, your FGB shirts, get your Coaching Matters shirts, get your Cigar Fanatic shirts. All right, get all your stuff over, and not to mention, let's get the Good, Better, Best T-shirts and hoodies online. Get that. Start getting your stuff together now for the season. It's going to be one exciting season, so make sure you got your gear ready to flex. Well, all right, guys, I got to run. I hope you have a great day. I will see you on Wednesday. As I said, let your loved ones know you love them because tomorrow is promised to no one. And with that, from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. You have a phenomenal day, but your boy is out.
Come on, lace the bass. Get ready for the job and answer the clock.